have never told their real story. Their real story in life, right? Because your real story in life, we wear a mask, as you know. We hide behind things. We lie. We people please. We tell people one thing and do another. We as women, we're the biggest liars ever. Let's be honest, right? We are liars because we as women always want to make it seem like everything is okay. How many people know that? Raise your hand. Exactly. So I did it for so long. I was a people pleaser. I wore a mask. I lied. I always wanted to make it seem like my life was fabulous when really I was crying on the inside. Why I think this session is so important about finding your inner voice and sharing your story, because we all have a story, and our story is here to share, to tell. Your story will help someone else's story out. Your story will help someone else become great in who they are. You see, let me tell you about my story. You don't know me, but in 2009, I was diagnosed with stage 4 terminal breast cancer. The doctors told me to come in after doing a biopsy and doing a sonogram, but everyone thought I was going to be okay. So my doctor said, well, you're only 33 years old. There's no way you can have cancer. Then another doctor said, no way. You can't get a mammogram until you're 40 years old. Nothing's wrong. But because I'm persistent and I'm the Energizer Bunny, I'm like, no, I want to see what's wrong. I told my doctor, just give me a biopsy so I can be okay and make sure that I'm not going crazy in my mind. Now, I remember the day, March 25th, 2007. I came into the doctor's office after doing an MRI. And the doctor told me to sit down. And I always say that because we never want to hear the word sit down from a doctor, right? You know, you want to just go in and get out. I hate needles. I hate all of this bandages. But he said, sit down. And he said, with this paper, white jacket, salt and pepper hair, he said, you've been diagnosed with stage 4 terminal breast cancer. And it's in your entire body. At that moment, I didn't really know what to do. At that moment, I asked my doctor and I said, well, doctor, what can I do? I mean, what are the avenues I can take? Does this mean that my life is over? And he said, well, do you believe in miracles? And it hit me so much to my core because I'm a believer in faith in God. And I said, hell yeah, I believe in miracles. And I'll see you in 10 years. And this March that just passed is my 10-year anniversary, being cancer-free. Yes. But let me tell you, along the way of that journey, I was afraid to tell the story. You see, I was afraid to be the sick girl, to be the one that everyone looked at and had an issue. I was afraid to share because I was embarrassed of my story. No one wants to be known as the sick girl. No one wants to be known that you had an issue. You see, cancer was hush hush. Oh, if they have cancer, you know, they're okay. You know, don't say anything, right? You know, or they're ill, or there's mental illness, or she's depressed. You see, we all have something like that goes on in our life, in our family. Well, you know, they went bankrupt. You know, they had to move because their house went in foreclosure. There's always a story inside of a story. We have so many stories and we never share it. Why? Because we're embarrassed. We are so embarrassed to tell our story. The time is now, ladies, to stop, and gentlemen, right? To stop being embarrassed and share your story. You see, when I had to go to treatment, I had to get busy living or get busy dying. I had to have it in my mind that I was ready to live. I said, well, if I got to go to treatment, I better go to treatment right. I had my red lipstick on, my high heels, and my fur coat, sachet, every time I went into treatment, right? Every time I used to walk like this. Hi, Doc. Because I had to have it in my mind that I was living. Come on. How many people have written a book in this room?
It's not about vision.
Oh, I love it. See? You have a story to share. S is you have something to say. Share your story. Stop being afraid. T.